Hey, Full Circle Press family. Today I am here. Hi, it's Marina, FCP CEO, president, author coach, author, educator, speaker. I don't know, I wear a lot of hats, but I wanted to talk to you today about my writing practices. So, with full transparency, I actually like editing better than I like writing, let me say this. I like editing books better than I like writing books. I like writing, but I like writing things that are sort of short, more essay style pieces. But when it comes to full length works, I prefer to edit other people's works than I do to write my own. That being said, I have written and published four books of my own, and then also ghost written quite a few Full Circle Press titles that are in our library today. Ghost written those for clients, and my writing practice is actually connected to my reading practice. So I think one of the important things you can do as a writer is read every single day. As some of you may or may not know, I used to actually teach high school English and actually still do some school-based consulting, and literacy is one of my areas. And so one of the things that I know from being a teacher and a literacy coach and working with schools around problems of practice related to literacy is that there is a connection between reading and writing. So if you want to be a better writer, read more and read more well-written stuff. So one of the things that I do that's part of my regular writing practice is I constantly am trying to have something in my reading queue that's really good writing. Now, a lot of books that I read are in like the self-development, spiritual, or business space. And honestly, those books, there's a lot of great content in them, but they're not necessarily the most well-crafted pieces of prose. But I always have something in the queue from like one of my favorite authors, even if it's books that I read over and over again. A couple of my favorite authors, just in terms of their writing style: Anne Lamott, Barbara Kingsolver, Stephen King's book on writing. I actually haven't read much Stephen King outside of that, but his book called On Writing is one of my all-time favorites. Anne Lamott, Barbara Kingsolver, Stephen King's On Writing, and then Glennon Doyle, who some of her books were published under her prior married name, Glennon Doyle Melton. But anyway, great, just prose, just good writing. And so that's one of my writing strategies, is that I read well-written things on a regular basis to keep myself sharp. The other thing that I do is when I'm working on a writing practice, consistency matters. So like writing something every day, content creating something every day, putting pen to paper or pens to the keyboard every single day matters. Also a journal, and I'm not right now, like sometimes, some seasons of life, I do more extensive journaling. Right now, I just do a quick daily gratitude journal every day, but just writing something that's a reflection piece. And then the last thing I do that's sort of a part of my writing process right now, and this changes with seasons. I'm not actively writing my own, like a book right now. When I am in a writing season, my practice changes, and I really like larger periods of time away. But I would say for me, I have a hard time coming in and out of that writing mode. So I try to, as part of my calendar, my weekly calendar, monthly calendar, I try to batch my writing sessions, longer writing sessions. I do this with editing as well, where I don't have anything pressing. So I have a longer window, 4 or 5 hours blocked off on days when I don't have anything pressing on either side of that. Now, you might be watching this. This isn't like a how-to video. I do a series of how-to videos on YouTube. They come out every Wednesday. This is just sort of a behind-the-scenes sneak peek into my current writing practices. And so again, depending on where you are in your season of life, and there's different like writing personalities. Like I take clients through this whole thing to figure out how you write best. So I'm not saying like my practices have to become your practices. This was just more so a little behind the scenes in terms of my current writing practice. Again, I'm not working actively on my own book right now, and I'm ghostwriting 2 titles right now. So I am working on writing books too. I'm ghostwriting 2 titles, but I'm mainly in editing mode, like final content line editing mode on a couple projects. So even for those I'm doing more editing sessions than writing sessions right now, but even those, I love when I look at my calendar and I see those 4 or 5 hour blocks to just work on edits. Does it take some intention to get my calendar to a place where I can have those blocks? Yes, I work with my assistant very closely also. She helps protect my time, but it matters. And I think whether it's writing a book or training for a marathon or committing yourself wholly to being a mother or developing a new relationship you may be in, like, we put our time and attention on what we value. And so for me, writing is something I value. It's also something I coach others around. And so I work every day to stay connected to that process. And again, right now I might not be writing a whole lot of original content, but every day I'm putting pen to paper, I'm reading something that inspires me in some way, and I'm looking on my calendar to say, where are those uninterrupted, longer, like, blocks of time that I can work on writing, either for clients or for myself. So that's a little sneak peek into my current writing practices. Hope you found this helpful, or at least a little bit entertaining. I found, I started doing these videos because I really like getting a behind the scenes. I find myself I'm not on social media very much, like, as a consumer, but when I am, I find myself being really attracted to how other people are just sort of setting up their lives and their businesses. And it's also just kind of some fun stuff to talk about. So that's what I've got. Thanks for watching.